Is this your last chance to buy cheap Bitcoin? Humanly affordable Bitcoin, that is. Well, we're going to be covering some of the main reasons why I think that we might be seeing that window closing here in the near future, that where we are currently may indeed be a great time to be getting into Bitcoin. Before we do jump into that though, just a quick note that Nash, formerly known as NEX or the Neon Exchange, is taking pre-signups for what is one of the most highly anticipated decentralized exchanges launching this year. And to celebrate that, they are giving away $100,000 worth of Bitcoin and 45,000 NEX tokens. That's a lot of money. There is a link down below to get signed up to be in for a chance to win your share of the Bitcoin or NEX tokens. Also, a quick note that the Ethereum Development Conference happening in Sydney from the 8th to the 14th of April this year. I will be going to that. I would love to see any of you guys there. There's a discount code down below. It's the crypto Lark. Gets you 10% off the tickets, or $60 off of the tickets. Be awesome to see you there. Vitalik and a lot of the key players for Ethereum will be at the event. Now, Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin. One of those evergreen conversations, isn't it? Where's it going tomorrow? What's it going to be? Well, I think that it is an amazing time to be getting into Bitcoin right now. We have seen this massive retracement. We have been finding a lot of support, a decent amount of volume at these current levels. And I'm going to be covering off some of the things that have been going on in the background that make me incredibly bullish about the future of Bitcoin, because there's a lot to be bullish about. Sometimes I'm looking at the internet and just going, oh my God, Bitcoin, this is so exciting. I can't believe I'm here now investing in Bitcoin. This is amazing. And if you liked Bitcoin at $20,000, you should be loving it at $3,500, because the fundamentals have only become better as time goes on. And that is amazing when you think about it. And when I say, now is a great time to buy Bitcoin, $3,500, $3,600, $3,700, $3,800, these are great levels to be buying Bitcoin at. If you manage to get it around $3,000, you're probably already laughing. But moving forward over the next few months, I think could be some great opportunities to continue dollar cost averaging in, to continue accumulating. Chinese Bitcoin billionaire Zhao Dong says, buy Bitcoin now. Well, no one really cares. It's typical psychology when it comes down to it. Everybody's hyped and buying at $20,000, $19,000, $17,000. But that's when everybody's paying attention. Now that we've gone down, there's fear, depression, anger, leads to the dark side, it does. This is the time to think counterintuitively to the crowd. And there are a lot of people who are thinking counterintuitively right now. Not millions, hundreds of thousands perhaps. We don't have that big rush that we had. If we did have that big rush, we'd be back at 20,000 or 30,000 or something even newer and higher. But the smart money is slowly accumulating right now. It's happening in the background. Now, he goes on to say, I don't persuade people to buy Bitcoin because it seems easy to make quick money, but in fact it is not. He says, now is the bear market. This is the time when I start to talk people into buying Bitcoin. Interesting advice from someone who has spent a lot of time in the Bitcoin markets. Recently, we saw 2 public pensions from Fairfax County, Virginia, police officer retirement system and employee retirement system, investing in Morgan Creek's new $40 million crypto fund. That's important because when pension funds start investing, it sends a signal to other pension funds, it's okay. You can invest in this too. Look, we did it. We didn't explode. So we might see a situation where over the next year or 2 years or 3 years, and this is a building process, these things don't necessarily happen overnight. But maybe in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month, we see another pension fund announce, oh, hey, we're taking a little bit of a position in Bitcoin here. And then another one, and then another one. And then all of a sudden, all of the pension funds start FOMOing. Pension fund FOMO! Institutional investors are already here. It's happening. It's real. They're only going to keep coming. The gates have been opened, and the first few people are starting to walk. And you know how it is at a party. A couple people arrive, and then before you know it, a whole load of people roll in. That's what's going to happen here. Mike Novogratz has come out saying the markets won't go to 20 trillion right away. Well, no, of course they won't. Of course they won't. It takes a while to build things. It takes a while for these markets to build up. He said what is going to happen is one of these intrepid pension funds, somebody who is a market leader, is going to say, you know what? We've got custody. Goldman Sachs is involved. Bloomberg has an index. I can track my performance against them. And they're going to buy. And all of a sudden, the second guy buys. The same FOMO that you saw in retail will be demonstrated in institutional investors. That's from Mike Novogratz. And he's right. He's absolutely right. Institutional investors, they'll trickle in, and then it's going to be a tsunami wave. They will FOMO in hard, and that's trillions of dollars. Imagine what that's going to do to the price of all crypto assets, but particularly of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has the brand awareness, it has the perception, it has the legitimacy, it has the infrastructure, it has the custody, all this stuff for it that a lot of other cryptocurrencies lack. Barry Silbert came out and said that I'm convinced that whatever money is in gold is not going to stay in gold. He said that gets handed down to millennials. I'm highly confident a lot of that money will go into Bitcoin. Will he be right? Time will tell, of course, but I think he's right. Bitcoin is gold for the new generations. And I know there's a lot of you out there who are not millennials, who are much older, and who are getting into Bitcoin. That is super amazing. You guys rock, seriously. Way to think outside of the conventional wisdom of what we're being told. You know, be very serious and invest in the stocks and get some gold, son. Yeah. Be adventurous. This is the time of new technology. Bitcoin is that new technology. Bitcoin is that new investment vehicle. But according to the numbers that we are seeing, we do see a massive amount of interest coming from the younger age groups, primarily with a lot of the older age groups being suspicious of things they don't quite understand. Reality of the situation. Now, Goldman Sachs, their Bitcoin OTC desk is one of, if not the largest facilitators of OTC trades in the world, seeming to provide evidence that high net worth individuals, ultra high net worth individuals, family offices, hedge funds, and other financial entities of scale are indeed trafficking in Bitcoin. They're buying, they're selling, they're holding it in cold storage, they're doing wallet to wallet transactions. Maybe a family office is selling and a hedge fund's buying it, and this stuff's happening in the background. We don't see it because they don't want it to be seen. They don't. They're not going to exchanges to buy stuff. They're going to Goldman Sachs and saying, hey, I'm interested in buying 10,000 Bitcoin. Hook me up. Let me know when, how much it's going to be. I got the money sitting on standby for that. That's what's happening. And that doesn't get registered on the APIs, on CoinMarketCap. We don't see those numbers coming through, but it is indeed what is happening. Bitcoin is increasingly being seen as a vehicle for wealth, a store of value in a time of global uncertainty. Because when have we had a certainty feeling in the globe, really, global economy? It's been a while. We've had exuberant enthusiasm and terrible depression. Up and down we go, up and down we go. Different story though. Now, according to sources at Goldman Sachs, they see particularly that the people who are coming to them trust Goldman Sachs. The fact that Goldman Sachs is making this available says a lot to the family offices and all these different investors who are coming in. They saw Goldman Sachs invest in Circle. They saw it invest in other Bitcoin-related firms. And the investors, the high net worth individuals, are increasingly becoming comfortable with digital currency. The narrative that Bitcoin is digital gold has begun to take hold in the minds of investors. This, of course, has led to some of the increased volumes that we have been seeing in 2018 and throughout the beginning of 2019. And if the global economy continues to soften, we can, of course, expect those volumes to continue to increase. Paraphrasing from what the source said. Now, another source went on to say OTC volumes have increased across the board, global economic uncertainty, and a flight to safety now includes Bitcoin. This is from people inside the OTC desk who are dealing with these family offices, the high net worth individuals. They are literally saying that yes, we see these people looking at Bitcoin as a flight to safety. Let that sink in, because that's big. He goes on to say that is why you are seeing an increase in volume year over year. And again, to start in 2019, he said Goldman is a major player here. They've got the first mover privileges at Circle because of their equity stake in the firm. So they are more effective from a pricing standpoint than other large bank facilitators. Goldman's clients know this, and it continues to increase confidence in the firm as a safe place to funnel investment dollars into digital assets. So the Goldman Sachs OTC desk just going to continue to be more popular. Now, that's just Goldman Sachs OTC desk. One tiny piece of the puzzle in this giant infrastructure that's being built right now. We have Bakkt. We have Fidelity. Remember, OTC is limited in terms of its immediate effects on the market, etc., but the carryover effects are real. There's only so much Bitcoin available on OTC before it starts running out, and people like Goldman or others will start going to exchanges and slowly accumulating Bitcoin off of there, getting it ready for OTC sales. Then, of course, we have the good old Bitcoin ETF. When's it going to happen? Not yet, apparently. SEC Commissioner, though, Robert J. Jackson, recently did an interview with Congressional Quarterly. That sounds like a great magazine to read, said no one, probably. But anyway, important information apparently does come out of it because he expressed views that an SEC-approved Bitcoin ETF is inevitable. Inevitable. Add into that we now have the SEC review of a Bitcoin ETF rule change proposal by the New York Stock Exchange, ARCA, and Bitwise Asset Management. Oh my goodness, look at all these crazy words. Now, the important thing of that is that they are reviewing a rule change to the Bitcoin ETF. It's going to happen. The SEC commissioners think it's going to happen. The New York Stock Exchange thinks it's going to happen. Major players who are continually putting these filings in think it's going to happen. It is just a question of time. And when the ETF launches, this is going to be another major source of liquidity and will bring even more new investors in. And I know we're talking a lot about the big money players. We're talking about Goldman Sachs and Fidelity and the New York Stock Exchange and the SEC and bugger all these guys. Honestly, we don't need Wall Street. But the reality is that Wall Street's coming to the party and they're going to bring truckloads of money with them. That's not going to happen overnight. The ETF approval might take another year. Accumulation time. We have the opportunity now as regular humans to still acquire Bitcoin while it's cheap enough, because we might actually be seeing that time ending where regular humans are able to own one Bitcoin. Just look at what happened to gold when the gold ETF launched. A lot of people are speculating that this is probably what we're going to see happen when we see the Bitcoin ETF launch. There's a good chance that history could indeed repeat for digital gold. Then, of course, we must remind ourselves that yes, there is a falling supply emission. The next halving for Bitcoin is only a year away, and in a little more than a decade, the block reward for Bitcoin will be below 1 Bitcoin per block. Just imagine how scarce Bitcoin is going to become and how quickly it's going to become scarce. Some of us look at the markets and think, well, if I can't make $1 million tomorrow, what's the point in putting my $500 in? Think long term. Think 10 years from now. Think 5 years from now. Where is Bitcoin going to be? What is the potential of that asset to increase in value? 7 billion people, a maximum of 21 million Bitcoin. Millions of those are already lost forever. Try to own 1 Bitcoin if you can. It's going to pay off big time in the future, or at least it has a great potential of paying off big time in the future, because that day is going to come when having 1 Bitcoin, when you go and say, hey, I've got 1 Bitcoin, people will go, ooh, you've got 1 whole Bitcoin? Wow. Just imagine when the block reward's below 1 Bitcoin, how actually having 1 Bitcoin, how valuable that could possibly be. Might seem ridiculous now, but remember, at one point it seemed ridiculous to people who were buying Bitcoin at $3 that could reach $20,000. It's only going to become scarcer as time goes on. And of course, we can look at the charts, and there are still people, the bears, calling for lower prices, but we've really been flatlining recently. That sideways movement, yeah, we could see a movement back down. Sure, absolutely. Maybe we'll go down to 3,000. But I think the calls for lower 2,000s or $1,000 Bitcoin, overly pessimistic, overly bearish. I'm looking for a start of recovery anyway. You see what's going on in the background. The support level for buying, it's in the 3,000 range right now. I think that we will see demand going up. We will see more people wanting to get Bitcoin, wanting to get their hands on Bitcoin. These big family offices, all this kind of stuff, these people want it. They will continue to buy it at these prices, especially now is the time to be buying. They know it. Goldman Sachs knows it. Bakkt knows it. Fidelity knows it. Do we know it? When will crypto winter end? Well, it's hard to say. Going back to our Chinese billionaire buddy from the start there, he's saying that all of 2019 will be a crypto winter. And what does that actually mean when he says all of 2019 will be a crypto winter? Does that mean that we're going to continue to fall down in price and everything's going to be terrible? Well, not necessarily. We could see sideways action happening for a long time. If we go back up to $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 within the next year, I mean, that's not really a, exuberant bear breakout, or a exuberant bull breakout, is it? But that's nice. Steady growth. I dig it. But there will come that moment of extreme exuberance at some time. Will we see more exchanges close in 2019? Probably. See more companies going bust? Wouldn't be surprised. But how long can you wait for the price to go back up? If you get 1 Bitcoin now, what's your strategy with it? You trying to cash it out in a week, a day, a year, 2 years, 5 years? Is it your retirement plan? Pension funds are investing in crypto. That's for their retirement plans. Can you look at a chunk of Bitcoin as a retirement plan? The one thing that I know is that right now, I'm personally accumulating. You guys have to make your own decisions on what you do. I just share my opinions on what's happening in the crypto land. But I'm accumulating right now. I think now is a fantastic time to be getting your hands on a bit of Bitcoin. And you don't have to be rich to get Bitcoin. If you got 20, 50 bucks a week, you can throw into that leftover from your paycheck. That adds up over time. Dollar cost average in, set an automatic payment, 20 bucks a week, boom, Bitcoin. In a year's time, you're going to have a lot of Bitcoin. May not seem like it at first, but this is investing. We're not trying to get rich overnight. This is long-term thinking here. Once that train leaves the station, though, for the Bitcoin price, we're not going to come back down here. This is an opportunity right now, because seeing Bitcoin in the 3,000 range, this won't happen again. I mean, maybe in the short term, but I'm talking like 5 years from now. 5 years from now, you'll be having conversations with people, and they'll be saying, man, if only I could have bought Bitcoin back when it was like in the $3,000 range, now that it's worth $100,000, and we go through another bear cycle and it's down at like $25,000, and like, oh man, how did people think to buy Bitcoin back when it was $3,000? We were here. We were lucky. We were the early ones. We're still early. For everything that's being built, for everything going on in the background, we are still early, and that counts. I'm here, you're here. We have the ability to buy Bitcoin today. We have the ability to own 1 Bitcoin. That's powerful. Anyway, just my 2 Satoshis on the current state of the markets. You guys let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Thank you, as always, for watching the video. Seriously, you guys are super, super awesome, so thank you so, so much. And if you did enjoy the video, leave a thumbs up on it. Bitcoin Rat will approve of such an action. And of course, if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell down below to stay up to date when I put out a new video. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.